The clock struck 7, but Sarah barely noticed. The scent of lilies, her daughter's favorite, filled the dining room. 2 years. 2 years since the accident. 2 years since her world had shattered. The sound of Kevin's key in the door made her straighten her back. She could hear his hesitant footsteps in the hallway. The rain outside matched the storm in her heart, each drop a reminder of the tears she could no longer shed. Kevin entered, his tie slightly askew, his eyes avoiding hers. "I brought your favorite wine," he said, his voice too bright. Sarah felt the cold weight of her wedding ring against her skin. "I'm not hungry," she whispered. The silence between them was deafening, broken only by the ticking of the grandfather clock. Kevin's phone buzzed. Sarah saw the name, Mia, flash on the screen before he quickly silenced it. The scent of his cologne, mixed with something else, a perfume she didn't recognize, made her stomach turn. As she stood to leave, her reflection in the antique mirror caught her eye. The woman staring back was a stranger. Mia stirred her coffee, the spoon clinking against the porcelain. The warmth of the cup couldn't chase away her guilt. The scent of freshly ground coffee beans mixed with the sweet aroma of cinnamon rolls from the bakery next door. She checked her phone again. Kevin's message was still there. "I need to see you. Abashide. My ban. Say." The barista's voice calling out orders blended with the soft jazz playing overhead. Mia's fingers trembled as she typed her reply. "Not today. Not today. Sarah needs you. Oh. Tao." The memory of her sister's empty eyes at last night's dinner made her chest tighten. A familiar voice made her jump. "Mia? Is that you?" Ethan stood before her, his presence like a ghost from the past. The scent of his leather jacket brought back memories. The warmth of his hand on her shoulder sent a shiver down her spine. He sat down without waiting for an invitation. "I heard about what happened to Sarah. I'm back in town." "You, Kevin stared at his computer screen, the numbers blurring together. The office was silent, except for the hum of the air conditioning. His phone buzzed again. Mia's message was simple. "We need to stop." "No." The scent of stale coffee and printer toner filled the air, making his head ache. He rubbed his temples, trying to push away the memory of Sarah's empty eyes at dinner. The sound of footsteps in the hallway made him quickly close his email. "Working late again, Mr. Thompson?" His assistant's voice was laced with concern. "Your wife called. She said it's important." Indada. Kevin felt the weight of his wedding ring like a shackle. "Tell her I'll be home soon." "Yo-hey." The cold office chair creaked as he leaned back, staring at the ceiling. His computer screen reflected his tired face back at him. When had he become this person? The buzz of his phone interrupted his thoughts. A new message from Mia. "I saw Ethan today." "I see." Sarah walked through the park, the crisp autumn air filling her lungs. The scent of fallen leaves and distant wood smoke surrounded her. The sound of children laughing in the distance made her heart clench. She quickened her pace. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Another missed call from Kevin. She let it go to voicemail. The crunch of leaves underfoot was the only sound in her world. Then, footsteps behind her. A familiar voice called her name. "Sarah, it's been a long time." "Nevi." Ethan stood before her, his face older but still achingly familiar. The scent of his cologne brought back a flood of memories. The warmth of his hand on her arm made her realize how cold she'd been for so long. The setting sun painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, casting long shadows across the path. He spoke softly. "I heard about what happened. I came back as soon as I could." "Isihar." Sarah felt the first real tears in 2 years well up in her eyes. The dam was breaking. The sound of the front door closing made Sarah's heart race. Kevin was home early. The scent of Mia's perfume still lingered in the air, mixing with the smell of the wilting flowers on the table. Kevin's footsteps were heavy as he entered the living room. "Sarah? We need to talk." The clock on the mantel ticked loudly in the silence. Sarah felt the weight of Ethan's words still fresh in her mind. Kevin's voice was strained. "I know you've been seeing Ethan." And the sound of breaking glass made them both jump. The vase of flowers lay shattered on the floor. Sarah's hands trembled as she spoke. "And I know about you and Mia." Jiao. Miao, Nitty. The scent of the spilled water mixed with the flowers created a sickly sweet aroma. Kevin's face crumpled. "I never meant to hurt you. I needed someone who could feel something." Ni. The moonlight through the window cast their shadows on the wall. 3 figures forever changed. Mia stood in the garden, the cool night air raising goosebumps on her bare arms. The scent of jasmine was overwhelming, but the sound of the fountain's gentle trickle was the only thing keeping her from falling apart. Her phone screen glowed in the darkness. Kevin's last message burned in her mind. "I can't do this anymore." The crunch of gravel behind her made her heart stop. "I thought I'd find you here." Ethan's voice was soft. The warmth of his jacket, as he draped it over her shoulders, made her realize how cold she'd been. The moon's reflection in the pool wavered as a tear fell into the water. "I never meant to hurt her," Mia whispered. Ethan's hand on her shoulder was steady. "Sometimes we hurt the ones we love the most when we're hurting ourselves." Yo. The scent of his aftershave mixed with the jasmine, creating a bittersweet memory. Mia's voice trembled. "I just wanted to be seen, to be chosen, for once." The night wind carried their words away, leaving only the sound of rustling leaves and the distant cry of an owl. Sarah sat in the therapist's office, the ticking of the wall clock marking the passage of time. The scent of lavender was supposed to be calming, but it only made her think of the garden where she'd last seen Ethan. Dr. Reynolds' voice was gentle. "Tell me about the last time you felt truly seen, Sarah." The sound of a distant lawnmower outside the window blended with the hum of the air conditioning. Sarah's fingers traced the pattern of the couch's fabric. Before the accident, before everything changed. The warmth of the afternoon sun through the window made her realize how cold she'd been for so long. Dr. Reynolds leaned forward. "And what about now? With Ethan back in your life?" The scent of her own perfume mixed with the lavender, creating a strange sense of familiarity. Sarah's voice was barely above a whisper. "He sees me. The real me. The broken pieces. Yo, okay." The sound of the clock's ticking seemed to slow as she finally allowed herself to cry. Kevin stared at his whiskey, the ice cubes melting slowly. The scent of alcohol and polished wood filled his nose. The sound of laughter from a nearby table made him wince. When was the last time he'd laughed? His phone buzzed again. Mia's name flashed on the screen. He silenced it without looking. The warmth of the whiskey burned his throat, but it couldn't chase away the cold emptiness inside. The bartender's voice broke his thoughts. "Another one, Mr. Thompson?" The scent of someone's perfume as they passed made him think of Sarah, of how she used to smell like home. His wedding ring caught the light as he reached for his glass. "No, I think I've had enough." The sound of his own voice surprised him. When had he become this person? The cold metal of the bar stool pressed against his back as he stood to leave. Outside, the night air was crisp. For the first time in years, he felt awake. Mia walked along the beach, the cool water washing over her feet. The scent of salt and seaweed filled the air. The sound of seagulls crying overhead mixed with the gentle lapping of waves. Her phone lay forgotten in her bag. For the first time in months, she didn't need to check it. The warmth of the rising sun on her face felt like a new beginning. Footsteps in the sand behind her made her turn. Ethan stood there, his hands in his pockets. The scent of his leather jacket mixed with the ocean breeze, creating a memory she wanted to keep. He smiled. "I thought I might find you here." "Eh?" The sound of the waves seemed to slow as he took her hand. Mia's heart pounded in her chest. "I'm not running away anymore." "No." "Shanji." The first rays of sunlight broke over the horizon, painting the world in gold. Sarah knelt before the small headstone, the cold marble sending a shiver through her fingers. The scent of damp earth and fallen leaves filled the air, bringing back memories of autumn's past. The sound of distant church bells marked the hour, their mournful tone echoing through the cemetery. Footsteps on the gravel path made her turn. Kevin stood there, his hands in his pockets. The warmth of his hand on her shoulder was familiar, but different now. "I'm sorry," he whispered. The scent of his cologne mixed with the autumn air, creating a bittersweet memory. Sarah's voice was steady. "We both made mistakes. We both needed to heal. Even though the sound of leaves rustling in the wind seemed to carry their daughter's memory between them. Kevin's eyes were wet. "I never stopped loving you. I just forgot how to show it." "Yee." The setting sun cast long shadows across the graves, marking the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. Ethan turned the page of the old book, the scent of aged paper filling his nose. The sound of the coffee machine hissing and the soft jazz playing overhead created a peaceful atmosphere. The warmth of the afternoon sun through the window made the dust motes dance in the air. A familiar voice made him look up. "Found anything interesting?" Mia stood there, a book in her hand. The scent of her perfume mixed with the bookstore's aroma, creating a memory he wanted to keep. He smiled. "Just some old poetry. Reminds me of better times." The asshole. The sound of pages turning as she sat beside him was comforting. Mia's voice was soft. "Do you think we can really start over? After everything?" The warmth of her hand as it found his sent a shiver down his spine. Outside, the city bustled on, but in this quiet corner, time seemed to stand still. Kevin studied the blueprints, the scent of fresh paper and coffee keeping him alert. The sound of the city below and the soft classical music created a perfect working atmosphere. His phone buzzed. Sarah's message was simple. "Good luck with the presentation tomorrow." The warmth of the desk lamp on his face reminded him of late nights working on their first home together. The scent of new paint from the renovations mixed with the coffee, creating a sense of new beginnings. He picked up his phone, hesitated, then typed, "Thank you for everything." The sound of his own breathing in the quiet apartment was strangely comforting. His reflection in the window showed a man at peace with his choices. The city lights twinkled like stars, each one a possibility, a new beginning. For the first time in years, he felt ready to move forward. Sarah dipped her brush in the paint, the scent of oils filling her studio. The sound of the violin concerto playing softly mixed with the gentle hum of the city outside. The warmth of the morning sun through the windows made the dust motes dance in the air. Her phone buzzed. Ethan's message. "Can't wait to see your new work. MC." The scent of fresh coffee from the mug beside her mixed with the paints, creating a familiar comfort. She stepped back from the canvas, studying the colors. For the first time in years, they felt right. The sound of her brush against the canvas was like a heartbeat, steady and strong. Memories of her daughter's laughter mixed with the music, no longer painful but precious. The warmth of the sunlight on her face felt like a blessing, like permission to move forward. As she painted, she realized she wasn't just creating art, she was creating a new life. Mia sipped her wine, the scent of roses from the garden mixing with the crisp evening air. The sound of the city below created a soft hum, like the world was breathing around them. Ethan's hand found hers across the table, its warmth sending a shiver down her spine. The scent of his cologne mixed with the flowers, creating a memory she wanted to keep forever. The string lights above them twinkled like stars, casting soft shadows on his face. The sound of a distant saxophone drifted up from the street below, adding to the magic of the moment. Mia's voice was soft. "I never thought I could feel this way again. Not after everything." Yee. The warmth of his smile made her heart skip. Sometimes the best things come after the hardest times. The scent of the wine mixed with the night air, creating a perfect moment she wanted to freeze in time. As their fingers intertwined, she knew this was where she was meant to be. Kevin adjusted his tie, the scent of his new cologne mixing with the fresh office air. The sound of his team setting up for the presentation created a familiar, comforting rhythm. The warmth of the morning sun through the windows made the new office space glow. His phone buzzed. A message from Sarah, "You've got this." Simple words, but they meant everything. The scent of fresh coffee from the break room mixed with the new carpet, creating a sense of possibility. He looked at his reflection in the window. A man reborn, ready for whatever came next. The sound of his team's laughter as they prepared was music to his ears. Memories of late nights and early mornings with Sarah mixed with the present moment, no longer painful. The warmth of the rising sun on his face felt like a new beginning, a fresh start. As he began his presentation, he realized he wasn't just building a career. He was building a new life. Sarah stood before her painting, the scent of champagne and roses filling the gallery. The sound of murmured appreciation and clinking glasses created a symphony of success. The warmth of the spotlights on her face made her feel like she was finally stepping into the light. Ethan's hand found hers, its familiar warmth sending a shiver down her spine. The scent of his cologne mixed with the gallery's atmosphere, creating a perfect moment. She looked at her painting, a mother and child, bathed in golden light, their faces turned toward the future. The sound of applause filled the room as the curator announced her next solo exhibition. Memories of her daughter mixed with the present moment, no longer a wound but a source of strength. The warmth of Ethan's pride in his eyes made her heart swell. As she accepted congratulations, she realized she had finally found her way home. Mia unwrapped her gift, the scent of pine from the Christmas tree filling the room. The sound of holiday music and the crackling fire created a perfect winter scene. The warmth of Ethan's arm around her shoulders made her feel safe, cherished. The scent of cinnamon from the mulled wine mixed with his cologne, creating a memory she'd treasure. She held up the small box, her hands trembling. Inside was a key to their new home together. The sound of snow falling outside seemed to hush the world around them. Ethan's voice was soft. "I want to build a life with you. A real one." "No." The warmth of his kiss made her heart skip, just like it had that first time on the beach. The scent of the fire mixed with the moment, creating a perfect Christmas memory. As they sat together, watching the snow fall, she knew she had finally found where she belonged. Kevin handed Sarah a coffee, the scent of fresh brew mixing with the crisp morning air. The sound of birds waking up in distant traffic created a peaceful urban symphony. The warmth of the coffee cup in his hands reminded him of simpler times. Sarah's perfume mixed with the morning air, creating a familiar comfort. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the city wake up around them. The sound of a distant church bell marked the hour, its tone clear in the morning air. Sarah's voice was soft. "We made it through, didn't we?" The warmth of her smile made him realize how far they'd come. The scent of the new day mixed with their shared history, creating a perfect moment. As the sun rose over the city, they sat together, not as husband and wife, but as friends who had weathered the storm and found peace.